Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over some new synthetic brushes from MAC. A lot of brands, including MAC, have decided to go completely synthetic with their lines. They are taking their current brushes and just turning them into synthetic. I have had these brushes for a little while now. Some of them, like this one, I've only had like a little over, I don't know, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. Some of them 3 weeks. MAC Online did not release these right away, but I was able to find them like at my Nordstrom store. I think I got like 2 or 3 at the beginning, and then I got another one and another one. I was waiting for them, but now they have released and you can get your hands on them pretty easily. I'm gonna go over the pros, the cons, pricing, maybe some dupes. I did order some Zoeva brushes, and when I tell you it has been over 2 weeks and they are still not here, and according to the like DHL or something, it's still not in the country. So I'm not waiting for them anymore. I will have to update you guys on whether I think that they are a good option or not in a separate video. Obviously, I was not going to go out and buy the entire line of the MAC synthetic brushes, but I bought a few of my favorites. So ones that I know how the originals perform, and so I can compare them to the new synthetic ones. The ones I got are the MAC 135S now, MAC 217S, MAC 116S. The S thing is going to drive me nuts. The S stands for synthetic. I think I'm just going to say the number. The 221, 239, 224, and the 168. I have used all of these brushes. I have tested them, I have washed them, and I definitely have an opinion on them. I'm going to go brush to brush, compare them, give you some thoughts on them, pricing, and then whether or not I would recommend them. First off, MAC 221, this one right here. This is the original and this is the new synthetic. First thing you're going to notice whenever you see the eye brushes is that the new ones are slightly longer, just a hair longer. And hopefully you can see as well the synthetic, this one here is not as white as the new one. I found that when I washed pretty much all these brushes that the synthetic hairs held on to color more. They didn't become as pure white as the original. I feel like the synthetic version isn't as tapered, not as fluffy, a little stiffer, but overall kind of the same shape. However, I do not like it as much. I find it to be slightly stiffer and harder to get that really soft diffused blend. But overall, it's pretty similar, just not the same. I actually found that I liked the 221 synthetic better for underneath the lower lash line because it doesn't disperse as much, more than I like it in the crease or the outer V as like I did the original. So for the 221, I wouldn't necessarily suggest it. I wouldn't suggest against it, but I would never steer someone in that direction. I'm not going to tell you it's a bad brush, but I'm just kind of on the fence about it. I wouldn't say, hey, go get this brush, but I wouldn't say that it's a bad brush either. This brush, on the other hand, the MAC 217, the new version actually makes me extremely angry. I do not feel that this brush deserves the 217 name. I get hot when I think about this. The MAC 217 original is a cult classic. Everybody knows the MAC 217. People have tried duping it. I'm sure there are dupes. I have one here that's kind of similar, and I did order a Zoeva one. It's not here. But this new synthetic brush it's not a 217. They should have just completely renamed this because it's not a 217. Again, with the not as white, it's not as fluffy. Every time I washed these brushes, I was hoping that maybe the synthetic fibers would fluff up a little bit. They don't. This brush is pretty much good for nothing other than getting a very defined line in the crease. It doesn't blend out anything. I don't like it at all. It's not as fluffy. It doesn't, it's an imposter. That's what it is. It's a 217 imposter. I want to read you my notes on this brush. I said, shaped completely differently, not a crease brush I would ever reach for. I really wouldn't. I'm never going to use this brush. Disgrace to the 217 name, and a cult classic died. I would never suggest this brush to anybody. I loved the 217. This one diffused products so well. You could use it for the transition shade and the crease. This one, you're going to end, like, you have to work for it. You really have to work for it. I probably wouldn't be as mad at this brush if they didn't name it a 217. I still wouldn't suggest it because I don't like the brush, but it infuriates me that they call this a 217. MAC 224. Now this one I'm not so mad at. I never use the original 224. This one I do like a little bit better than the original. The original natural hair 224, when you first get it, it's pretty soft, but quickly becomes itchy and this brush sheds. This one, the synthetic version, is a little stiffer, so it holds, like, I feel like all of the synthetic brushes are just overall stiffer. This one, I feel like I can get more in the crease and get some definition that I'm lacking with a 217, whereas this one really just deposits very little product. This one's going to deposit more, and I haven't found this one to shed. It isn't super soft though. It's softer than the original in the sense that this one becomes so itchy scratchy. This one isn't itchy, but it's kind of, again, stiff, but I will actually use this one, whereas I never use the old one anymore. I would feel comfortable suggesting that 224. The 239. I don't really think they did a good job with this brush. It is thinner than the original. It is more stiff again. The synthetic brushes, like, I feel like they should have just discontinued this brush. I don't like it at all anymore. I'm not going to use this brush. The original 239, you could really pack on matte shadows and get a really nice even blend across the lid. This one, I don't feel like you can do that. I feel like it leaves it a little bit patchy. I don't like the texture of it. I don't like this brush, would not suggest it. The MAC 168, I'm gonna try and keep the natural ones on this side. This is the only brush that I have gotten that has already fallen apart on me. The very first time I washed it, it started to fall apart. So before I get to that, you can see that this one is not as fluffy as the original. It's soft, but not as soft again as the original. This one holds color. And then when I washed it, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see on camera. Oh, you might be able to see right over here, there's like a bump. I don't know, I'll take a picture and insert it, but this little section of hair is already coming out, and it's not like one or two hairs, it is a section of hair, and I've washed this once. I haven't even tried playing with it since then because I'm like, yep, this one is going to go down the drain. I don't know if I got a bad one, but I can't suggest this just purely on the fact that it's falling apart after one wash. This one I have had for years and years and years. I've worked at MAC for years, and this is one of the first brushes I ever bought. You can see like it's all worn off here, whereas this one's brand new. And then also on the face brushes, they're shorter than the original, like quite a bit shorter. I'm not sure why they made the eye brushes longer and the face brushes shorter, but they did. If it didn't fall apart, would I suggest it? I wouldn't say it's a bad brush, I just don't particularly like it. If you wanted to buy a synthetic brush and you liked MAC, I wouldn't say that this is a bad shape or performance brush, but if they all fall apart like this one does, then I wouldn't touch it. Also with the original brush, I feel like you could use this for more things, whereas I feel like the new one is really just contour. This one you could use for powder, you could use it for bronzer, contour, blush, because it's so much fluffier and can diffuse products so much better, but the new one is pretty much strictly contour for me. The MAC 116, again, you're gonna see this theme of just more stiff, tighter packed bristles. And I don't think that this one has less bristles than this or anything like that. I think that they just, because they're synthetic, they don't have that natural tendency to just kind of fluff out. And I've washed these several times. The only one I haven't washed several times is the 168. This brush, I just kind of feel like you're putting on your blush, like pushing it into your skin and like with a paddle. This one, it's like, I don't know. This one is kind of itchy, scratchy. This one's not, but I don't like the performance of this one. I wouldn't suggest it. Now we're getting to a brush that I actually like. This is the MAC 135. Again, we're holding on to some color here. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't remember, like, yeah, this one's holding on to color and this one is not, and I've had this one for a long time. I've used it several times. I don't know why that is. You would think the natural hair would hold on to color more, like when you wash it. I've washed it several times and it does not come all the way out. However, this brush is actually softer than the original and it's nice and fluffy. It puts product on beautifully. I don't think this is better than the original. It is slightly softer. And you are going to have to apply more. So you're going to have to keep on getting like your bronzer and adding it and buffing it into the skin. Whereas this one does it a little quicker because it's natural hair. But I actually like this brush and I would recommend this brush if you're comfortable with the price point. Which brings me to the price point. What I do not agree with this whole thing of them moving into synthetic is that they kept the same price. I feel like they should have dropped it at least a few dollars, if not like $5. This MAC 135, the original was $42, and this one is $42. I don't agree with that at all. I feel like they should have dropped it at least $5. I do understand your MAC. You know, you have a name behind you, so you can ask for a higher price point. I do not agree with making the same exact brushes, calling them the same thing, and then asking the same price for a lower quality item. You call it what you will. I do actually like some synthetic brushes. I've really been into the Bdellium Tools, but the Bdellium Tools have a price point to match the synthetic quality. In fact, some of the Bdellium Tools I actually like better than the new MAC synthetic brushes. Like the 273 is better than the MAC synthetic version, and I can promise you that this one is cheaper. The 785, I love this in the crease. It is ridiculously soft, and I've used these quite a bit. I haven't had them that long. I've only had them like a month, but I do like them. For me personally, I'm not going to continue to buy every new brush that comes out from MAC. There are some that I absolutely love that are higher price point. This MAC 140S is a synthetic brush, and I believe it was $42, but I love this brush. I use it every day. But now I am a little bit more aware than what I used to be of the pricing and quality that you can get with some synthetic brushes. What I do want to do is give you guys a few natural hair brush options for you if you love these style brushes, but you do not want to buy the synthetic versions, you want natural hair versions. I highly suggest Wayne Goss, like this, almost said MAC. Goss number 18 is similar enough to the 217 that I would definitely suggest it if you're looking for a 217-ish brush. I did, again, buy some Zoeva ones. I'm just going to have to try them out to see if they actually work. The Wayne Goss number 19 is a good, slightly shorter dupe for the MAC 221. I don't have a natural hair version of the 239 to show you. In face brushes, it's so much easier. Like, you can get natural hair face brushes just about anywhere. The hardest one to dupe, I think, is this one because it's like flimsy and it's a paddle and it's amazing. But like I said, I actually like the synthetic version of it. I just don't like the price. Anywho, please let me know down below, what are your thoughts on all this? I understand that a lot of companies want to go synthetic. I feel like personally, as a working makeup artist, I have started to like some synthetic brushes. I never thought I would say that, but I have. However, I feel like they should have just added them to the line. I would have loved to see MAC keep their natural hair brushes and added the synthetic option for me personally. And again, like I said, I feel like they should have dropped the price. And I feel the same way about Laura Mercier, any other brand that's going to go completely synthetic and make the same exact brushes. I don't feel like they are the same quality, so I don't feel like you can ask for that higher price. Please take that with a grain of salt. I'm just trying to help you guys out. Let me know if this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys in my next video using not that fake imposter 217. Bye guys.